Hey makeup lovers, I'm here to do a tutorial that you can relate to about mortgages. So, just like makeup, you gotta know what you're doing, right? If you really like doing it, you're not gonna just go to any old person to get tips on how to do makeup. Should be the same way with mortgages, okay? Tip number 1, don't just go anywhere to get a mortgage. It takes a lot to get qualified, a lot of consideration, a lot of things are considered. So first, I already moisturized and I used some stuff that came from my, I don't know if I'm allowed to say without getting in trouble. So it sounds like Sipsy bag. And this, I think this came in that. Anyways, it's something, I don't even know. It's called the pill. Not birth control. I don't know, maybe it is, I don't know. But that's what I'm using. And then I also use this. I honestly don't know where I got this stuff. It's probably from the Sipsy bag. Pixie Skin Treats. Okay. Okay. Now, you guys out there might know more about these brands than I do. I don't know nothing. I don't know about them, okay? So, again, not an expert, but I am an expert with mortgages. Anyways, the one thing that we want to do is do a little bit of setup before we start getting into the nitty gritty of the makeup. So we're going to do a little primer. So primer is, in mortgage world, like the base that's going to kind of hold everything together while you're going through the process. So it's going to be made up of your loan officer, your real estate agent. You need guidance when you're doing this because when you're buying a home, it's pretty serious business. The next thing that you're going to need is your foundation. Okay. So your foundation is going to be things that you're bringing to the table. Income and assets, okay? So you want to make sure that you're not just rushing into things and without considering whether your income or whatever is, well, it might not be the right color for me, but that's what I'm working with, okay? Your foundation is going to be basically your assets and your income. So it's what you're coming to the table with. You want to have experience when you're applying it if you're a professional, because there's a lot of things that can determine whether or not we can use your income. Generally, you need to have about 2 years experience, and especially if your income changes. So if you are not full-time, hourly or salary, getting a certain amount of hours fixed all the time at least, then there might be some problems. Kind of like if you didn't put primer on and the foundation and then just start throwing blush and eyeshadow and stuff like that on, it's not going to be as great, okay? It's not going to be fun, and you're going to have to go back and fix stuff, and it's going to be blotchy, and people are going to be looking at you like, what are you even doing? So I hope that resonates with you makeup people out there. Again, I'm not even going to try to say that. I don't know what that is. I don't even remember why or where I got this, but I get a shipment once in a blue. And pretty sure I set that up, but I don't know how to cancel it. Not that I don't like it. It's nice. It does good coverage, but it's a little out of my price range. But like I said, I'm not an expert. Anywho. So, besides your income and your assets, your base, and your foundation, you are going to have to go into some detail, lots of detail. Underwriting is going to look at everything, okay? And if there's anything that's not lining up, there's going to be a problem. Speaking of lines, sometimes you can cover things up and sometimes you can't. Whatever you do, don't try to hide anything. Just like how I'm going to try to hide these dark circles with some concealer that I'm going to try to say this one. Anastasia. Okay? I don't even know how it got down this low because I actually never use it. But anyways, that's for another video. My point being, if you try to cover things up, we'll find it. We see everything. So you really want to be honest. You got any blemishes in your past, you're going to want to be forthcoming with your loan officer and tell them that so that they can help you determine whether or not that's going to be an issue in the underwriting process. If it is going to be an issue, they can either help you with guiding you how to improve the way it looks by highlighting your strengths. Because at the end of the day, it's about risk when it comes to loans. So just like me using this brush to put concealer on, it's a little risky because I don't do it all the time. But what the heck, why not? And I guess we'll put some there. So, you want to dress it up a little bit, but you don't want to go overboard because we're not trying to hide anything. Now, dressing it up. Some things that strengthen your loan, strengthen your chances of getting a loan, getting approval. I think I did that backwards. I think I was supposed to put foundation on after. Let's just throw a little on. Let's put this on here. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm supposed to use a brush when I do this. So I'm going to grab one in a minute. Do any of you put makeup on your hands? Look at how terrible that looks. I feel like I'm going to have a self-conscious thing now about my hands now. Who am I kidding? I already do. Speaking of being self-conscious, if you do have some blemishes in your past, don't be scared. A lot of people do. Even the people you don't think they do. So don't let them fool you. Everybody got a little bit of dirt, okay? So just tell your loan officer. Don't be embarrassed. And if, I hope this never happens, but if anybody ever makes you feel less than for having some blemishes in your past, go to somebody else. Because there's all kinds of us out there. And ain't nobody gonna say no. Unless they can't do it. But then they should help you and guide you and put you in the right direction. In my humble opinion. Alright. So, where were we? Oh, strengths. Okay. Money in the bank is always a strength. Not just any money though. You're gonna wanna have seasoned funds from reliable sources. Income, tax returns, child support, alimony, wherever, as long as you can source it. You can't borrow money to borrow money, and you can't use cash in most cases. Very rarely. Some of my clients out there know what I'm talking about. And again, they didn't know better. I helped them through it, and everything was fine. But you got to be careful, because sometimes we can't help you through it. Honesty. I mean, really, it's kind of biblical if you think about it. So we talked about bank statements, sourcing your funds. You want them to be clean. If there's any large deposits that you can't show, then we have to subtract that out. What else is a strength? History of employment. So if you've been in the same line of work with the same employer or some similar line of work and a long history in that field, and you show growth and all that, that adds strength to your chances. And when you have enough strengths, it can outweigh some of those risks that could otherwise hurt you. So, employment history, having significant funds or ample funds, at least enough to cover your closing costs and then have some left over. Generally, especially if you have some risk that's affecting you a little bit, then having a little bit more in the bank, showing that you have 1 or 2 or 3 months worth of money in the bank to cover expenses, that's a big strength. Risk, bankruptcies, judgments, me doing a makeup tutorial. By the way, this is the eye makeup that I'm using. Can you see that? Okay. If you have a lot of risk and you're able to get pre-approved, don't it up, okay? Because it means things are really touchy and it takes a little tiny change to screw everything up. So if your loan officer is real specific with you about what to do and what not to do, you better listen. Because if you don't, well, you're one of those people that's like your own worst enemy and you just keep screwing shit up and then blaming it on other people maybe. I don't know. Ain't nobody's fault but your own. Well, okay, let me take that back. Sometimes it is other people's fault, but usually it's your own. All right. So when you're trying to dress things up a little bit, not in a fraudulent way, but, you know, highlighting your best assets, you're gonna want to be careful because you don't want to overdo it. If you overdo it, then that's not going to look good either, because then it looks like you might be trying too hard to do something that you really can't afford to do. So you want to do just enough dressing up to be like, look, I learned my lesson, I made some mistakes in the past, but I'm ready for this, I really am. You're making that argument basically to underwriting. If you overdo it, that's more risk. So, oh, sorry, here we go. Some people really do a really nice job. And by the way, millennials, some of y'all getting a bad rep out there by some of the bad seeds, bad apples, whatever you want to call it. Because I swear to God, millennials be my favorite kind of clients most of the time. They listen, they come with their homework, they do research before they come in so they know what I'm talking about, and they got money. Like what? I didn't have that kind of money. I was very irresponsible. So maybe that's why I'm not so judgy with people. Anyways, sometimes they just naturally, they don't even need to do their makeup because they're just so, they just have everything together. They're just those people you just want to be around because they just got to figure it out. Good parenting, mom and dad. Or not, maybe it's the other way around. Anyways, none of my business. So, at the end of the day, you you want to have a strong foundation. You want to put on that primer first because you don't want to put all this time in and then have it all just melt away and fall apart, right? So good foundation, good guidance. Loan officer, real estate agent, listen. By the way, listening to your parents and your brothers and your sisters and your friends and your co-workers. Not saying don't hear what they're saying. I'm just saying take it with a grain of salt. Because even when I got into this industry, I was like, oh, I'm going to be good at this. I like learning things, and I'm going to learn all kinds of stuff, and then I'm going to be amazing. It took a couple of years. I still learn every day, though. Every day I learn something new. So it's not something that you can just be like, oh, I bought a house, now I know how to do mortgages. Okay? And I'm not knocking them. They love you. They care about you. Some people just like to give advice. Sometimes it makes people feel good to be like, I'm not doing so great right now. Let me tell somebody else what they can do to be better. Be prepared. But really, they're giving bad advice. So sorry, I go off on these tangents and I don't mean to. I'm sorry. Where was I? You want to listen to who you're working with, the professionals, okay? If your parents or anybody else gives you advice, bring it to your loan officer and ask them about it. Don't be shy. We want you to ask us questions, okay? Just don't take whatever they're saying because it could actually hurt your chances. That's all I'm saying, okay? Now, I don't know where I get that okay thing from, but I don't know. Anyway, so this is the piece of the resistance. So I'm going to finish it up. And this is kind of like the final touches when you get to the end of that loan process. The underwriter is going to review everything one last time. By the way, speaking of underwriting, little known fact, they see your stuff about 3 times. When we submit it the first time, it's underwriting. Then when you send in everything that you're asked of, and then one more time finally. So if you're one of those people that kind of procrastinates and is like, oh, here's one little thing, and here's another little thing, and here's another little thing, they ain't seeing that until you got everything in, all right? So don't be getting all mad at your loan officer because you didn't listen and get things in right away and procrastinate, okay? That's you projecting, okay? Again, that's another video. Anyways, they're going to see that like 3 times, and they're going to go in, do the final touches, double check everything before they're done. So, just like you lovely makeup people that I admire, and you're probably cringing as you watch me do my makeup, but I'm a loan officer, let's be real. I don't have time to put this much time into my makeup. And I probably could have more time to do this, but hey, I'm not perfect, okay, people? And I'm a little bit lazy when it comes to stuff like this. So, but more power to ya, because you look gorgeous. You really do. Alright, so doing those final touches, and then you get, hopefully, with my guidance, oh, my hands are slippery. Oh, this is, milk. Oh, you're so creative with these names these days. Milk. Who would have thought to name it milk? Like, what does that even mean? I wonder if it's an abbreviation or something, or an acronym. I don't know, but I like it. It goes on nice. I know I'm probably doing it wrong. Again, don't care as much. My point in doing this is to help you understand things by relating it to something that you enjoy. And then, little glossy gloss. I can't do lip liner. That way I know you're probably thinking she needs it because her lips are all skinny. But I ain't got time for that because I apply maybe once or twice a day. I'd have like half-lined lips throughout the day and not even realize it because I almost always forget to even look in the mirror when I leave the bathroom after I wash my hands. Anyways, then you get to go to closing and you're all happy and glowing, and it's like when you're done with the makeup tutorial and you're like, holy crap, they actually look pretty. And that is my take on the mortgage process relating to makeup.